And hello again, Cobra sports fans, and welcome into a very special edition of Cobra Corner here on PCTV. I'm Brian Schutte, and we are pleased to welcome to the program the new athletic director here at Parkland College, Mr. Brendan McHale.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it.
And I'd like to say welcome to Parkland, but in actuality, it's welcome back to Parkland.
Yes,
Tell us a little bit about your background and some of the connections you've had previously here with Parkland College.
Well, my connections with Parkland in the past, I actually was a student here in the mid-'80s, and then I graduated from Western, but I made it back into the area. I grew up about 25 miles southwest of here, a small town called Ivesdale, District 505, but now I took a job as an athletic trainer working at Christie Clinic and then at Carl Sports Medicine, but both of those years overlapped, and my assignment was Parkland College. So I was the athletic trainer. I'm fortunate to be the athletic trainer here from 1992 to 2006. So 14 years, had a lot of good years, a lot of success, both athletically and academically with those student athletes that we had, and just very fortunate to be back. So.
And how did that previous experience kind of encourage you to apply for this position? Did it kind of put it on your radar a little bit more since you had been around and really had a lot of experience at Parkland?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I've received that a lot. So not being specifically an athletic director in the past, I have been in management or administrative jobs at my previous employer, Carl Foundation Hospital and Carl Sports Medicine. My duties there for the last 12 years were supervising athletic training, and those duties also included having yearly, sometimes twice a year, meeting with anywhere from 20 to 30 different athletic directors in the area. So I had a lot of good connections there, and I always appreciated the way they did their job and how they looked out for their school's best interests, and of course that carried over with my relationship that I had with the two previous athletic directors here at Parkland College, both Jim Reed and Rod Lovett. I always appreciated the way they did the job. They did it the right way every day, and I always had a lot of respect for both of them, and didn't really think that the position was going to come available. But when Rod Lovett resigned, it was kind of one of those opportunities I didn't think it was going to come by. Because Rod was young enough, and I thought he'd be doing the job for a lot longer than what he did. But he had another area to go, staying involved in athletics still. But this had offered me or gave me an opportunity to be involved with Parkland College athletics again. So in a different capacity, being the athletic director, but I have always enjoyed athletics in any capacity, in every capacity. And helping the coaches here at Parkland College continue to be successful that was an opportunity that I wanted to pursue.
And I know Parkland as a college and also specifically as an athletic department always enjoy seeing District 505 students coming in, competing. So how do you feel that some of those relationships you were able to build through your previous role at Carl is going to help you continue to strive with the athletic department here at Parkland?
Well, I mean, anytime you have a direct connection where you can talk to somebody, it can certainly help give you more information on some of the student athletes in the local area, whether they can compete at the collegiate level, not only whether they can, but whether they want to or not. Not everyone that plays sports in high school wants to continue playing in college, but there are a lot of them that do. I mean, it can be a very rewarding and sometimes humbling experience to be an athlete, whether you succeed or not, but we can certainly make those connections with the athletic directors or the coaches in the area and try to get some of the talented athletes in the area to get them to join our programs here at Parkland College. So.
And I think it's kind of a interesting dynamic having the experience as an athletic trainer. Some of those athletes you're dealing with are at some of their lower times, not being able to compete and things like that. So how do you feel that kind of helps you understand the psyche of an athlete and kind of what it takes for them to not only get back, preventative type of things, and also to be able to put their best effort forward when they are on the field?
Right. So anytime you're dealing with something that's not going your way, it's all about how you respond. And when an athlete's dealing with an injury, it's all about how they respond. Do they take the positive steps forward, helping them return to their chosen level of sport, or excuse me, to return to their chosen sport? And they can do that a number of ways, obviously with some rehab. But there's also some times when a student athlete is struggling in the class. And how do they respond to that? Are they going to go to those extra tutoring sessions or reach out to people that can help improve their standing in that class? So it's a different way of looking at it, but in many ways it's the same approach, all about how you respond when things aren't going your way, because of course life is fun when everything goes your way, and it doesn't always happen that way. So it's all about how we respond, and we'll try to get those student athletes to respond in a positive way, because we want to be successful both in the classroom and on the field, or in the field of competition. So how we get them to approach that, and our coaches do a great job of getting them to look at a more positive way to improve their situation, whether it's with an injury in the classroom or even maybe in their personal life. Sometimes things don't go your way, and they've got a lot of experience that can be extremely helpful, and I'm just very fortunate working with the coaches that have those experiences.
And obviously the Cobras have a tradition of excellence that we're very proud of here at Parkland. I've been affiliated with athletics for about 8 years now, and since my time here, every single one of our 8 sports teams have qualified for their respective national tournament at least once, if not multiple times. So Parkland is really kind of recognized as a powerhouse on the national level at the junior college level. So do you feel any pressure to try to continue that sense of excellence, or trying to try to keep us up towards the top there?
Well, again, kind of going back about the student athletes, it's all about how I respond, and the best way I can respond. We want to continue to be very competitive, not just regionally but also nationally. And I just need to find out from the coaches what do we have that is good that we can take to great. So, and how do we do that? And so those are just conversations that I need to have with the coaches. Our coaches have a lot of talent on their teams, and they've got a lot of great ideas. So I just need to help them be successful, and that's one of my challenges, because when they're successful, the wins and losses will take care of themselves. But more times than not, we'll continue to be very successful and push the envelope and pursuing those championships, which is always the goal when you're in athletics. And I look forward to helping the coaches pursue those, or achieve those goals.
And speaking of some of the previous conversations with our current coaches, is there any specific vision you're laying forth for what you see the athletic department coming, or kind of what type of athlete you're looking for to be involved in Parkland College athletics?
Well, the goal is always to have student athletes, with students being first. So we want to make sure they do well in the classroom. We have a lot of academic All-Americans, would like to continue in that avenue. But as far as the athletes that we're looking for, ones that fit what the coach's philosophy is, and our coaches' philosophies are going to be right in line with what Parkland is, and that's making sure we're not only competitive but doing very well in the classroom and in the field of competition. So anything I can do to help with that, I'm going to. Because everybody, if you play sports, you want to win, you want to be successful, and our athletes just need to listen to our coaches, which I know they do. They're very coachable kids. I've seen it in 4 of our sports, which are in play right now, but the other 4 sports are practicing, and you can just see it. They want to do well every single day, and it's a lot of fun to be a part of that.
And that's one thing that's been very impressive, is the focus on academics.
Yeah.
When you think of athletes, some of the stereotypes are those that they don't go to class, they don't have to follow the same academic rigor, and that I can definitely say is not the case here at Parkland College.
No.
I've even seen some of the teams over the years be a little bit competitive. I remember one year the softball team was celebrating because they had the highest GPA for that academic year. So as an institution, how difficult is it to try to sustain that academic excellence, but also continue to put the wins on the board?
Well, I think the academic part of it, Anthony Figueroa, he's our head men's basketball coach and also our academic advisor, does a lot of great work, making sure that our student athletes are not only attending class, more finding out their grades, making sure they're doing well, and those students also know they can reach out to their coaches to help out with where can I go for tutoring, or I'm falling behind in class, What can I do to help? I mean, the students know that right up front at the right when the semester begins, that they've got avenues that they can reach out to if they're struggling in a classroom. And of course, the product that we're putting on the court or the field, whatever it may be, we're playing at such a high level. Just by that competition level being so high, they're going to have to raise their game if they want to play for that chosen sport. And the best way to do that is practicing and continuing to improve each and every day, which our athletes do. So I think they kind of, as far as the academics and the athletic performance, they kind of run in line because we're trying to push everything at the highest level we can and try to get these athletes continue to improve. Again, not just athletically, but also academically. And with the tutoring sessions that we've got here, they have study tables. I mean, there's a lot of things in the athletes, the student athletes' behalf or chances for them to be successful.
And I know a question that I've got kind of over the years, as we mentioned, currently fielding 8 different sports teams at Parkland. Have there been any conversations or thoughts of possibly expanding the sports offerings here at Parkland, or do you feel pretty comfortable with the size of the department as it stands currently?
Yeah, I think where things stand now, the 8 sports that we've got, continuing to push them and not push them, that's the wrong word, but continuing to give them the tools they need to be successful. But we've also, we're always getting people from our community reach out to us and, hey, what about this sport? And that's something we're always going to listen to, but we've got to make sure we do our due diligence to make sure if we're doing that, we're not just going to put a sport out there just because. We want to put it out there because it's going to be successful and it's going to give our student athletes an opportunity to be successful here at Parkland College as well, not just in the classroom but also on the field, and we don't want to just go through the motions.
And if you could pinpoint one thing, what has been the biggest challenge so far in transitioning to your role as the new athletic director here at Parkland?
Well, I've got a lot to learn.
If you could only choose one.
If I could choose one, I've had this conversation a few times. One of the things, it's nothing that anyone can do about it now, but starting at October 1st when golf, volleyball, and then men's and women's soccer, they're about halfway through their season when I showed up. So getting to know those student athletes has been a little bit of a challenge. I can play some catch up on the basketball teams, both the women's and the men's, and then of course softball and baseball. Their fall seasons have completed now, but their real in season will begin in the spring semester. So I think getting started in the middle of the semester was a challenge, but I'm okay with challenges. There's nothing wrong with the challenge here and there, and it's been a fun ride so far. I've met a lot of there's an incredible amount of great people here at Parkland College. I knew it was a large area. I didn't know it was as big until I got in the athletic director's chair and getting to know all the staff here and some of the professors. They're just a lot of incredible people here, and it's a testament to them as to why our student athletes can be so successful in the classroom and on the field. So I enjoy working here. It's been a good ride, but the biggest challenge was probably starting in the middle of the semester, but that's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
Sure. And we've talked just a little bit about, you've had some previous experience as the athletic trainer here and things like that, but also seeing cheering on the sidelines there, a little bit of a personal connection is also your daughter Catherine actually competed for the women's soccer team for 2 years.
She did. She really enjoyed her time here at Parkland. The soccer team was very good, but she really enjoyed the classes that she took. She liked all of her instructors. And she transferred on and went to another school, but it's amazing the number of former student athletes that wish Parkland College was a 4-year school. And I heard that even before my daughter Catherine played soccer here. Of course, she said it a little bit during, but more afterwards. She just really enjoyed the Parkland climate in here. There's a lot of really good people, instructors. She went into it knowing it was a 2-year school, but if you asked her wishes, but it would have been that Parkland was a 4-year school, but that's not the case. But I've heard that several times. So, yeah, it was fun watching Catherine compete. I wasn't the athletic trainer when she played here, so being in the bleachers was a different seat, but I'd been in the bleachers before when I watched her play sports in high school, so that was fine too. but yeah, it's always fun watching your kids compete, and especially if they're loving what they're doing.
Yeah, I remember those two teams specifically. They were a very high-powered team,
Yes, they
very
were.
fun to watch.
Yeah.
So really enjoyed covering those particular teams.
Yeah.
But one thing that I always feel like is an interesting dynamic for the coaches at the junior college level is trying to balance success for the current season, but also trying to help those athletes find their next stop.
Yep.
So how difficult do you think that is for your coaches to not only, as you mentioned, make sure we're getting the best out of these athletes for Parkland, but also looking out for the best interest of that athlete and helping them find their next stop, possibly at a four-year institution?
Yeah, and I think one of the things that really helps with that is our student athletes, when they're finished their freshman year, they start looking at, okay, where am I going to land my junior year if they play here for 2 years. So they're kind of in the driver's seat on that. Our coaches do, they're very well connected, our coaches are, as far as knowing people at the next level, and whether that's Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, whatever division it is. And we do have those athletes that want to play for 2 years and then they want to be done. So it's an impressive process watching our coaches, and I actually saw it also when I was the athletic trainer, even back then, watching that whole dynamic of getting those kids, those sophomores, placed at the next level, and at the same time recruiting those those seniors in high school that would be coming in as freshmen, and watching that. And I think the coaches really enjoy that part too, because they're trying to put the pieces to their puzzle together and making sure they have the right, not just an athlete, but making sure they have the right athletes that fit their philosophy and the way they want to play. They want their team to play the game. But yeah, getting them to the next level, they're very well connected, and it's impressive watching them help those kids out. So,
and you talked a little bit about your previous relationship with the prior two athletic directors.
Yep.
Have you been able to talk with either one of those and kind of garner a little bit of advice from them?
I have. I reached out to Mr. Reed, Jim Reed, and I spoke with him about kind of some of the do's and the don'ts. And I reach out. Rod Lovett is a very good friend of mine, and I've reached out to him, and he's been very helpful to me as well. In fact, I just spoke to him earlier today yesterday because of a scoreboard issue. So I knew he had some help there. But yeah, I've reached out to both of them, as well as some of my other friends that either coached at the collegiate level, high school level, and even some athletic directors that have connections in the area. I've reached out to some of them, and a little caveat, but a little warning to the ADs that I haven't spoke to, I might be calling them. So I really, I'm kind of an open book as far as that comes. As far as that goes, I mean, I don't mind reaching out to other people and learning from their experiences, learning, again, the do's and the don'ts, and what's been successful and what they have tried that wasn't so successful. And anytime we can learn from somebody else's past, that's a good thing. I mean, it helps the student athletes be more successful. It can help the coaches be more successful. So that's one of my biggest goals here that I haven't started just yet, but is connecting with the coaches and seeing what it is I can do, or we as Parkland College can do together, both the coach, myself, and his coaching and their coaching staff, help them to be successful. So that's something I'm really looking forward to doing.
And that's a good transition into my next question. So as you said, there's a lot going on any given time, still trying to get your head wrapped around everything, but entering into this position as athletic director, are there any specific goals you're looking to get accomplished for the athletic department during your tenure?
Well, so with Rod Lovett having left, he left the program in a very good place. And that's because he had the right coaches in place, and we have, of course, every year you have some coaches that move on to their next step in life, whatever that is. So there's not a whole lot that really needs to be fixed. There's some things, obviously anytime you can come in, you can tweak things or make things a little better for both the student athletes, but also for the coaches. And that's something we're always going to continue to do, to try to improve things here at Parkland. And that's not just because other programs are doing it. It's because this is the right thing to do. So as far as like any major overhaul changes, I don't have any. It's just finding out what I need to do to help the coaches be successful, and that's getting them the tools that they need to be successful. Because again, we're just trying to. If something is great, if it's not broke, we don't need to fix it. But at the same time, if something's good, how do we take it from that good to great? And that's my challenge.
And definitely a very busy time in the academic calendar right now with, as you mentioned, both men's and women's soccer as well as volleyball starting to wrap up their regular seasons, preparing for Region 24 action. Also both basketball teams working hard in the gym, trying to get ready for their season opening. So kind of where are we at with the current sports going on, and what can we have to look forward going through here for the rest of the fall semester?
So men's and women's, as you alluded to, both start their first round of play next Wednesday. The women will be on the road and the men will be hosting. And it'll be a 3 o'clock start time here for the men's game on Wednesday here. And the women will be on the road 2 o'clock. So that's soccer. Golf has their last match for the fall season. They'll head down Sunday to St. Louis area and play Monday, Tuesday. And then the women's volleyball team, they're actually at a tournament this weekend, have a 3-team round-robin tournament next Wednesday, and then they'll start regionals the last week, I think it's Wednesday, the last week of October. It's 4 kind of winding down, and of course men's and women's basketball are starting to ramp up for their they're playing some shootouts here and there, and of course they're practicing and they're getting after it in the gym. So it's a busy time, but it's very fun watching the kids compete and practice because that's where you get better.
And is there any last little piece of information you'd like to give to the Cobra fans out there about Mr. Brendan McHale, the new athletic director here at Parkland?
No, I just we got an open door in the athletic department, so come by and see us if you have any questions or you have any suggestions. We're all ears. But like for you to come out and support our Cobras as often as you can.
Well, thank you for taking some time to join us. As we know, your schedule's rather hectic these days, trying to get everything squared away. So thank you for taking some time to join us, and we'll be looking to see you out on the soccer field, the basketball court, and every other surface that we can think of to come up going forward. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So this has been a very special edition of Cobra Corner here on PCTV. As we mentioned, Mr. Brendan McHale, the new athletic director. We are very pleased to welcome him back to the Parkland Athletic Department. So we're looking forward for big things to continue here for the Cobra athletic teams. So for now, we thank you for joining us. This has been Cobra Corner right here on Parkland College Television.